All right, I'll go first. I guess it makes sense that this one goes first, and then we'll play a video about Deep Dish Swift, which is a cool conference coming up. Josh wanted to be here, but unfortunately could not. I'm clicking, I'm scrolling, I'm full screening, I'm sharing. Let's see how this works. Sorry. I'm allowing permissions. I'm touch IDing, I'm sharing. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So as people keep, I guess, reminding us, it's been 3 years since the last in-person NSCoder. Feels like just a couple of days. It's flown by, huh? So I wanted to do a foundational sort of talk, get things going again. What is this? Why are we here? What are we doing? All right, so we all know NSCoder is an abstract class that serves as the basis for objects that enable archiving distribution of other objects. Serialization, of course. Wait, no, but that's the joke. Get it? We're coders, NSCoder. Does anyone know, pop quiz, why there are NS prefixes through Objective-C? What does it stand for? Next, Jeff, next step. Oh, Jake wants to tell a funny story. All right, hold on, everybody.
I went to a boot camp one time early in my career, and the guy was like, someone's like, what's the NS for? And the guy's like, because he really wasn't like a iOS developer. He was just like filling in. He's like, namespace. It's for namespace. And I was like, you fucking jabroni.
So Jeff, Hyper-Jeff Vegas might know this, but if you go way back and you look at the old Objective-C, they didn't have prefixes. It was just object, coder, like, I mean, everything's come full circle now, like Swift. I know. I love prefixing. I love text as namespace. So there was actually a thread in the leadership Slack about like, is this still relevant in the Swift world? I don't know. Let us know. All right. So anyway, NSCoder, this is what you're at, is in theory a monthly gathering of Mac and iOS and tvOS and iPadOS and VROS and are there any other platforms? RealityOS, WatchOS. Yeah, all the Apple platforms. And then of course there's no gatekeeping. So if you don't even want to program and you just like computers, come on by, no worries. As you notice, there's pizza. It's BYOB. All these things are just because that's the way it has always been. Doesn't have to be this way. If you've got a bright idea, if you'd like to make it different, come on by. Suggestions are welcome. But why? We know what it is, but why? So I'm a foundational firm believer in the value of human connections, not just in person, but like we see this on Mastodon, on Twitter, if it's still online, the Swift mailing list, like connecting with other people allows a diverse group of opinions to come together and make each other better, make the platform better. So that's the crux of it. But really, why? So if you show up, access to career information and employment opportunities. So I personally can vouch for this. NSCoder has enabled my entire career. Like met my buddy Jake like 12, 13 years ago now. And he said, why don't you come to this NSCoder thing? And I showed up, and a guy that I think now works at Apple blew my mind by telling me you could subclass UI view controller. No, wait, that was it. No, UI nav bar. So, oh my God, this is great. And through that, I met my friend Derek, who interviewed for a job. Job was way below him, but it was right. It was the right speed for me. And I picked it up, and the rest is history. So, and I know from talking to many of you, many people that aren't here, that they've got their first jobs, new gigs through NSCoder. So showing up here, employment opportunities. opportunities to gain leadership experience. Again, all the things that are NSCoder, the pizza, the people that run it, that's all just because we're here. So if you're interested in presenting, hosting, joining the leadership group, just speak up. It's an open door. You can make this thing better. And then it's a relatively low risk way to demonstrate some leadership opportunities that you might take back to your place of work. Growing greater appreciation of standards and ethics among practitioners. Is anyone a member of the American, what is it? The Academy of Computer Sciences? Obviously, I'm not a member. No? So Patrick says that he was in it briefly. All right, Kevin Donnelly is the Cisco certification. Yeah. So obviously, NSCoder is a little more laid back than an official certification. But again, you come by, you talk to some people. If you work at a company or you work by yourself, you're limited by that group of people, those perspectives. So you could come here and say to Ellen, what's NS stand for? And then you might learn something. Also, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I think I remember reading on Stack Overflow from like, what was his name? Bill Gardner. He works on like the deep stuff if he still works at Apple. I don't know if but I think he said it was next Sun. Like they brought it in because of the partnership. Anyway. All right, last but not least, opportunities for professional development and educational programs. You're going to see a video for Deep Dish Swift in a few minutes. In the bad old days, there was CocoaConf. Lots of educational opportunities, lots of new ways to learn new things, lots of open source stuff, all that's shared. Yeah, Bob is pulling like Chicago rank on conferences. Yeah, C4. What else? Night at the what? Mac Hack, yeah. See this? For those on the Zoom, Bob is enumerating every conference that's been in Chicago. And a lot of these were before my time in the biz. I was at home just reloading HyperJeff's website, the Mac OS 10 page. It's just reload. Is there any news? What is this? And now I'm here talking to you. Thank you. Anyway, so sounds great. Obviously, I've sold it to you. So what do you do? Like, it's pretty straightforward. Show up a couple of times. If we keep doing this, we'll keep doing this. Say hello to a new person. I know it's a little awkward, but you know, just go up and say, hey, what are you working on? How you doing? Like your beard, you know, something like that. If you're up for it, give a presentation. As you can see from my lived experience, the audience is pretty gracious, pretty accepting. Participate in the Slack org, Mastodon, Twitter, all that stuff. There are virtual spaces. There's a metaverse in addition to the meet space that we're currently in. And then, as I said, if you want to join the leadership team, if you want to host a future meetup, doors wide open. Just speak up. You could be the king or queen of NSCoder for a night. So these next slides are totally self-indulgent, and well, I'll just get going. So when I was preparing for this, I was looking in the deep archives, and these photos are from 12.5 years ago. So that's Ben right over there. Hasn't aged a day. And then Wolf, I don't know what Wolf's up to. He's probably hacking on something somewhere. There we go. So this is me like 50 pounds ago. I think, yeah, Carl there, he still lives in the neighborhood. These people, they moved out of town. Yeah, this was from Spiked Cocoa. Jeff Hyperjeff Biggest. All right, so some of you know Justin Munger and Victoria, but she's at Mozilla, and Justin's still contracting. No, he joined Capgemini. He's making a ton of money doing apps. All right, now this is yeah, well, you can see Randy, and I think that's Dimitri in the shadow, but I put this one up there because some people recognize him, but also because they came to NSCoder, they both work at Apple now. Pretty cool. All right. There's baby Jacob. What a handsome man. All right. And now, if you look closely, I believe that's our host, Patrick McCarran. And that's Britt there. She was one of the co-hosts of NSCoder back then before we took over a couple years ago. All right. So thanks for suffering through this. Hopefully you remembered all the reasons why you should show up. Hopefully you'll get involved. And hopefully the self-indulgent part didn't turn you off too much. Thanks for listening. Bob said, get involved, speak at future meetings. Thank you. Or else. Are we going to do the video? All right.
There we go. How about this? Whoa. Let's try technology and see if I can share. Desktop 1. Yeah, go ahead. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yes. Thank you very much. Later. And share. Now, is that working? Yes. Okay. So okay, hold on. How do I hide this baloney? Where's the present button? There we go. All right. Now can we see that? So the bizarre coincidence we have is that Granger and Scott's org hosted the regional finals for my son's robotics competition not too long ago. And it was pretty awesome. So the other title of this talk is Why the Big Math Test Tomorrow has me talking about my son's robotics team. He was going to bring a show and tell tool and toy, and it may be over the summer sometime. They can still bring it in, but it was a pretty cool thing. And I honestly can't say it has a ton to do with Mac development, but they all use Macs. So we're going to leave it and say that's close enough. I was hopefully going to get here earlier and see if I could run through this in my head, but why I was not here earlier is because the first time I've been back to my office in 3 years, and they required me to do a tad bit of cleaning. If you can identify all the device, well, they're all gone now anyway, but on the left is a DVI KVM switch of a 2004 vintage, roughly. And on the far right is the drawer full of cables, which we all have and nobody mentions. And what else? And various vintage Mac Minis in the middle, plus the giant ugly plastic Apple various displays of various eras. So the competition, the robots that they built, which are super cool. There was no robots when I was in high school. I was just so freaking jealous because he's like building stuff and the robots are running around and they're doing their thing. And, you know, they're all mad that they're not getting enough points. Like, there were no robots when I was in high school. So there's actually 3 levels of competition. They have the big robots, they have the medium robots, and they have the Lego League, which is for middle school and grade school primarily. My kid's high school does the medium ones because the big ones cost way too much money. And you can see my high school, there's 3 teams. My son's team are the 2 pictures on the left, and the other 2 robots are on the right. And let's see if I can get this out of the way. I didn't realize that was projecting on the screen. There it is. Come on. Stop. Oh, well, I guess it's not doing that. So what I was going to point out, though, it's really a great mentorship thing and a thing for them to connect and learn different aspects of technology. And this is something I really like about NSCoder and all the community that we have here as well. And I see what they're doing and I'm like, there's little nerds. I'm so happy. Thank you. So they have to do project management, which basically means all the grown-ups and sponsors of the team yelling at them to get shit done sooner because they're going to leave it to the last minute and try and pull all-nighter, which is actually pretty good real-world experience. So they also focus on teamwork and community outreach. And so they have focus on doing some marketing and some fundraising to buy parts for the robots. And of course, the upper class kids are very excited to get younger kids to join the team so there can be mentoring as well. And it's actually great. So that picture is in Granger's auditorium. And that was the final picture of all the teams that made it to the regionals this year. And this is what they were really going to pitch tonight, but they're studying for a math test and none of the parents would let them come tonight or bring the robots. So maybe in August, there will be an explanation of other roles that adults can do. There's a Chicago region, which would be closer for many folks. And then we are up farther north. I live in Deerfield. Granger is in Lake Forest. Thank you. I couldn't remember if you were over the border or not. So that said, that's it about pitch. The hardware is actually really awesome. And in order to simplify things for all the schools, they basically have one supplier, this company called Robotics. And there's a little Android-ish little module in the upper right of that. This is the starter kit, but there's a whole ton of stuff you can buy. And the software is all written in Java using horrible IDEs. I was trying to help them a little bit with Git. And there was much hair pulling out for high school kids. I'm like, oh no, poor guys, it shouldn't cause this much strain, but it's Git, so it does, of course. What was super neat on the software side was watching them all game out how to design the robot to do some autonomous mode stuff. So the competition basically is split. The first 30 to 45 seconds is completely hands-off and the robot does its thing or not, and there's sensors, and it's so cool. They call it AI. It's not AI. It is programmed to do stuff. And lastly, if you guys, I am actually not going to subject you to a 2.25 minute video of my son's team kicking some ass, but I will be happy to show anyone who wants to watch Proud Papa show you a video of what the robots do autonomously and not. Let's see, is there any other slides? Let's see. Let's hit escape and see what happens. Yeah, that was the last slide. So the video will start to play if I click again, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, hopefully they'll bring some robots for show and tell in the future. And I thought this would be very cool, but here I am talking about why I had to clean up my office and didn't have time to prep and review it again. I'm just happy to be here with all of you tonight. And you'll get the pitch for volunteering in August. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, Josh Holtz here. Well, not there where you are. I'm in my basement right now. We ended up getting COVID. Well, I didn't yet. My household got COVID this week, so I won't be able to make it to the meetup tomorrow. Today now for us. But I was excited to see everyone for the first time pretty much since pandemic. But yeah, pandemic struck here, so I'll see you probably next month. But I was going to do a little talk about Deep Dish Swift at the meetup tomorrow / today. So I'm just gonna go over that quick to see if anybody hasn't heard of it yet, and hopefully see some of you there. But yeah, I guess I'm mostly known for starting new Xcode projects, but last fall I ended up starting a new Swift conference called Deep Dish Swift. As you can see here, and by the name, it's a Swift Developer Conference located in Chicago, in Chicagoland. It's not actually in Chicago, but Chicago close enough. It is a 3-day event, April 30th to May 2nd. The first day is a half day of talks, all indie development related. And then the next 2 days are full days of Swift and iOS talks. So it is located at Laus in Rosemont for a few reasons. One is cost. Getting a venue in the city would be super cool, but it's a little bit expensive, especially for a first year where we didn't have any money to start off with. And there are actually a lot of people coming from out of town, so getting something really close to the airport was kind of nice. So the venue is a pretty nice hotel with a nice um, conference space. It is 3 miles from O'Hare with a free shuttle running, which shouldn't matter for most of you who are probably seeing this talk right now, but it is directly off of I-90, 294, and also 1 mile from the CTA Blue Line. So lots of ways to get there. And then there's also plenty of things nearby within walking distance too, for food and whatnot. So I think this location should be good for the first year. We'll see how it turns out. We have an amazing track or an amazing set of speakers. Our indie dev speakers are Curtis Herbert from Slopes, giving a talk about subscriptions. Malin and Kai from Orbit are giving a talk together about indie dev stuff. They haven't told me exactly what it's about, so that should be fun. Emmanuel from Card Pointer is giving a talk about going full indie from side project to best job you ever had. And then Ariel from App Figures is talking about App Store optimization for indies. So this should be a fun, less technical day, but more about like business building type of stuff. And then our keynote speaker is Peter Steinberger, which is amazing. I didn't think this would actually happen, but he agreed. He agreed to be a keynote speaker. So he's coming over from Austria to give that. And then our main track is pretty stacked as well. Ben Sherman, Tunde, Ellen Shapiro, Daniela, Michaela, Mark Pont, Ben Pruthi, who some of you might not know. He's a high school student and is amazing. Via Fairchild. We'll get back to Paul. Vince Davis, who used to be in Chicago, now he's in Milwaukee. Vui, Simon Storving, who's an indie from I'm gonna have to go. The baby's screaming. From the EU, and then Zach Brass. So we have an amazing set of speakers. Paul Hudson is doing a closing keynote. There's a schedule here. We have amazing sponsors: Revenue Cat, Code Magic, Runway, Century, One Signal, Emerge. Ionic is in here, Century, Michigan Labs, and Happy Scale. So we are thankfully have a ton of sponsors that have helped, and then we also currently have 164 attendees, attendee tickets sold, and that's not including the speakers and the tickets that come with the sponsors. So it should be a pretty big event, and I am excited to hopefully see a bunch of Chicago iOS devs there that I haven't talked to in a while. I would have probably talked to you today, but I'm not there. Yeah, this probably went a lot longer than what I thought it was going to. So whoever's in charge of this can fast forward through a lot of this garbage. But come to Deep Dish, it's going to be fun. Lots of networking, indie devs, iOS, Swift devs from all over. We have people coming from I think Australia, Japan, India, Malaysia, and then a bunch of EU as well. It'll be fun. If you want to buy a ticket, deepdishswift.com and ticket. But any questions, hit me up. You know where to find me: Slack, Twitter, Mastodon, GitHub. If you want to open a pull request somewhere and talk to me, I don't know. But yeah, if I don't see you next month at the meetup, hopefully see you at Deep Dish.
All right, the thing we'll repeat is good now? Sound now? Yep. All right, cool. Talks. Did you fix a cool bug at work? Do you want to take a little victory lap? Did you do a cool thing at work? Do you want? A lot of my talks were like a thing I did at work, and then I transformed them into a talk. So that's why my head goes there. It also doesn't have to be Mac related, app related. It could be robotics teams. It could be other cool problems you solved. Whatever. We're always desperate for talks, so we're not going to tell you no. And yeah, like Sean said, if you want to take a crack at hosting, it's fun. We're open to that as well. We have a Slack that we organize in if you're not a member of. Usually I have a slide with a QR code, but I've forgotten that. So Bob's going to work on it. Am I forgetting anything? Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. I think we're here until Patrick kicks us out. So hang out, vibe, which is a word we didn't say 3 years ago, but now we say.
And thanks again to Patrick and M1 for hosting. Triumphant return.
Triumphant return.